Friends, welcome back. Today, we delve deeper into the timeless wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita, picking up where we left off in chapter 4. Imagine the scene. The battlefield is set. The armies are poised, but the real battle is happening within Arjuna's heart. It's here that Krishna imparts a profound secret, one that stretches back to the dawn of time. Krishna says, "I taught this eternal yoga, this science of divine connection, to the sun god Vivasvan. He then passed it to Manu, the father of humanity, who in turn taught it to King Ik. Think about that lineage, a golden chain of wisdom passed from the celestial to the royal, meant for the benefit of all. But, as Krishna explains, through the long passage of time, this supreme knowledge was lost to the world. It became diluted, misinterpreted, and forgotten. This is where the conversation gets truly fascinating. Krishna looks at Arjuna and says, "Today, I am revealing this very same ancient secret to you, because you are my devotee and my dear friend." He sees Arjuna not just as a warrior, but as someone with a heart open enough to receive this divine truth. Arjuna, ever the practical warrior, is understandably confused. He asks, "Wait a second, Vivasvan, the sun god, lived ages ago. You and I were born in this lifetime. How could you have possibly taught him?" It's a logical question, the kind any of us would ask. We see life in linear terms: birth, life, death. Krishna's reply shatters this limited perspective. He smiles and says, "Arjuna, both you and I have passed through many, many births. I remember them all, but you do not. This isn't just about reincarnation, it's about the nature of consciousness itself. Krishna's consciousness is eternal, unbroken, while ours is veiled by the cycle of birth and death. He is the ocean. We are the waves, rising and falling, forgetting our source." Then, Krishna reveals the core principle of the avatar, the divine descent. "Although I am unborn, and my transcendental body never deteriorates, I appear in every millennium in my original form. Why? What is the purpose of this divine manifestation?" he explains. "Whenever and wherever there is a decline in righteousness and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time, I descend myself." This is such a hopeful and powerful message. It means that the universe is not left to chaos. There is a cosmic order, a divine intelligence that intervenes to restore balance. Krishna's purpose is clear: to protect the righteous, to annihilate the wicked, and to re-establish the principles of Dharma. I appear age after age. He comes not out of necessity, but out of love and compassion for humanity, to guide us back to the path of truth. And here's the key that unlocks liberation. Krishna says, "One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode." This is a monumental promise. Understanding the why and how of Krishna's presence is intense to theological exercise. It's a direct path to freedom from the cycle of birth and death. When we see the divine play for what it is, an act of love, we are no longer bound by the chains of our own limited actions. He continues, freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me. Many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. This path isn't new. It has been walked by countless souls before. They purified themselves not through harsh rituals alone, but by immersing their minds in this divine knowledge and developing a loving connection with the Supreme. Now Krishna shifts his focus from his own divine nature to the nature of action, or karma. This is something we all grapple with. How do we act in the world without getting entangled in the consequences? He explains that the wise and the ignorant may perform the same actions, but their inner disposition is completely different. The ignorant person acts with attachment, driven by desire for the fruits of their labor. I want this promotion. I need this recognition. I must have this outcome. This attachment is the glue that binds us to the cycle of karma. The wise person, however, acts without this attachment. They perform their duties as a sacrifice, an offering to the divine, without being fixated on the result. Krishna uses a powerful analogy. Just as a blazing fire turns firewood to ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions to material activities. Think of that fire. Knowledge, true spiritual understanding's a purifying flame. It doesn't erase our past actions, but it incinerates the karmic residue, the attachments and impressions that would otherwise bind us to future reactions. When we act with this wisdom, our karma dissolves. The action is performed, but it leaves no trace, no karmic footprint. Krishna then speaks about the many forms of sacrifice, or Yajna*. We often think of sacrifice as a fire ritual, but he expands the definition beautifully. Some people offer their possessions in charity, others practice severe austerities like fasting, some practice the yoga of eightfold mysticism, others study the scriptures to advance in knowledge, and some offer their very breath as a sacrifice through practices like pranayama. All these different paths, when performed with the right intention, without attachment to the results, lead to the same destination: purification of the heart and spiritual progress. The common thread is the spirit of offering. Whether you're offering your wealth, your time, your energy, or your breath, you are transforming a mundane act into a sacred one. But Krishna places one thing above all these rituals and practices. He says, "O conqueror of the enemy, the sacrifice performed in knowledge is better than the mere sacrifice of material possessions." Why? Because the ultimate goal of all action, of all sacrifice, is to culminate in transcendental knowledge. All rivers flow to the sea, and all righteous actions are meant to lead us to wisdom. So, how do we acquire this life-altering knowledge? It's not something you can just download from the internet or figure out on your own. Krishna gives a clear three-step process. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. Humility, sincere inquiry, and a mood of service, these are the keys that unlock the door to a teacher's wisdom. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. And what is the result of gaining this wisdom? Krishna describes a state of profound inner peace and clarity. When you have learned the truth, you will know that all living beings are but a part of me and that they are in me and are mine. This is the vision of unity. The wise person, illuminated by knowledge, sees the same divine spark in everyone and everything. Krishna gives a striking example of this equal vision. He says the wise see with an equal eye a learned and gentle brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and even a dog-eater or an outcast. This doesn't mean they treat them all identically, but that they recognize the same spiritual essence, the same soul within each form. This vision dissolves prejudice, judgment, and the illusion of separation that causes so much conflict in the world. A person who achieves this state lives in tranquility, free from the pull of dualities like happiness and distress, honor and dishonor. Their joy comes not from external circumstances, but from within, from their connection to the Supreme. They are like a deep ocean, undisturbed by the waves on the surface. Krishna concludes this powerful chapter with a final, stirring call to action. He has laid out the entire path from the eternal origin of this knowledge to the practical application of it in our daily lives. He has shown Arjuna that true action stems from true wisdom. He declares, knowledge is the purest thing in this world. It is like a sword that cuts through what? It cuts through the knots of doubt in our hearts, the ignorance that binds us to fear and inaction. Therefore, he tells Arjuna, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. And with that, he gives his final command in this chapter, a message that echoes through the ages to each and every one of us who feels lost or confused on our own battlefields of life. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight, rise up, take refuge in this wisdom and act. Act not from a place of fear or desire, but from a place of enlightened purpose and connection to the divine. This chapter is a complete guide in itself, a roadmap from confusion to clarity, from bondage to liberation. It teaches us that the greatest battle is within, and the ultimate weapon is wisdom. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through the Gita's wisdom today. If these ideas resonate with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more. It helps us share this timeless knowledge with more people. I look forward to seeing you in our next session. Be well.